Good afternoon, my dear. My dear, have an excellent Friday, okay? Have an excellent lunch. So, Folha de São Paulo revealed that Karina Gama's company that produced Bolsonaro's film, had two contracts. A contract with the company of someone involved with the PCC. The company was his, an NGO, and he was the only owner of this NGO. And Karina paid 12 million to this company owned by Alex Leandro, the sole partner and sole owner of an NGO, and he is in prison. He has more than 60 lawsuits and he's with the PCC, but that's not all. Go ahead and hit the like button. It's really important. Share the live stream. Leave your comment. That's not all. What's going on? Karina Gama is the sole owner and partner of Goap, the producer of Bolsonaro's film. She also owns an NGO, and what was discovered by Folha de São Paulo? Then O Globo went after it, and O Globo confirmed with its sources in the police. So O Globo has also already published this. Karina, she hired the company to provide services, and one of the partners is exactly Alex Leandro. And I repeat, he is part of the PCC and is even in prison since December for the crime of femicide. And he has more than 60 cases against him, including extortion, kidnapping, robbery, threats, all kinds of situations you can imagine. So Karina hired a company that he was a partner in. Up to that point, I said no, but sometimes you can hire a company and you don't know who the partners are. So up to that point, I said that's kind of pushing it, but that's not all. It turns out that the same Alex, he has an NGO where he is the sole owner of the NGO. This NGO, it was hired, the owner of the NGO. Then he, for 12 million reais by Karina. And the money she paid to Alex's NGO, who is in jail, member of the PCC. Guess where the 12 million reais she paid to the NGO came from? From the São Paulo City Hall, from the Bolsonaro supporter Ricardo Nunes. Do you remember that she won the contract lawsuit? That she won the bidding process. I don't know how she won that bidding process, guys. She won the bidding process with the São Paulo City Hall. I repeat, from the Bolsonaro supporting Mayor Ricardo Nunes. Of 108 million reais. Then there was an investment, there were 3 amendments, and it went up to 150 million reais. And she won this bidding process for installing equipment to provide free internet through Wi-Fi for underprivileged communities. 5,000 access points. She subcontracted this NGO from Alex Leandro, a member of the PCC. And she paid 12 million for him to do this service. Let me ask you, how does someone win a bidding process if they don't have the skills or the expertise and have never provided the service before? So much so that she subcontracted the service, and to a member of the PCC who was even arrested. Because as I told you, until then, her making a contract and doing business with the first company in which he was just a partner, maybe she didn't know. Because sometimes you buy something from a company, provide services for a company, and you don't have the obligation to know who all the partners of the company are. Now she hired the NGO, where the only owner of the NGO is the PCC member, Alex. There's no way to escape from that, and there's no way she can say she didn't know. And she paid him 12 million from the 157 million she received from the São Paulo City Hall to do the job she won the bidding process to do. She subcontracted with a PCC agent. Who is this? Andrea Gonçalves, producer of Bolsonaro's film. She had actually never produced a film before. She founded the production company to make Bolsonaro's film. What is she? There is an alliance, a direct connection with Mario Frias, former Minister of Culture and of Bolsonaro, federal deputy, executive producer of Bolsonaro's film. Guys, and who's uncovering all this? Andrea Gonçalves. In this case, it's the civil police that's investigating. Will this end up with the federal police? There's no way, guys. This should already be with federal police. And the civil police are the ones investigating all of this right there in Sao Paulo because the scheme is big. Bid fraud, corruption, money laundering, bribery, and now this new situation. It's right here, look, so you can see. Alex Leandro, look at this one. Accused of throwing a woman from the 10th floor. He received 12 million from the producer of Bolsonaro's movie by Karina Gama. I don't know if you remember this case here. This Alex, he has more than 60 lawsuits that he's facing. According to the public prosecutor's office, he is a member of the PCC in Sao Paulo. And he has been in prison since December because according to the police and the public prosecutor's office, he took his wife and threw her from the 10th floor. Not sure if you remember, so I'll show it to help you recall. This got a lot of attention at the time because it was a very serious situation. Serious, here it is. It was even on CNN.
Where a man was arrested for femicide after throwing his wife from the 10th floor. Live, Natalia Lauksen is the one bringing us the information. Welcome, Natalia.
Hi, Clarissa. Good morning to you and to everyone watching us here live. This arrest was authorized by the court after a request from the civil police. Therefore, Alex Leandro Bishop dos Santos is being held in preventive detention. He is suspected of throwing his wife, Maria Catian Gomes da Silva, 25 years old, from the 10th floor of a building. Unfortunately, she did not survive her injuries and died. This case happened at the end of last month in the south zone of São Paulo's capital. At the time, her husband even claimed that she had taken her own life. But the investigation began to suspect him after hearing some testimonies, collecting some evidence, and also finding inconsistencies. And analyzing security camera footage from the building, which shows moments before this happened, Alex assaulting his wife. When questioned about this, he ended up saying that he and his wife were coming back from a party and had an argument because he wanted to spend a few days with his son during Christmas, and she wouldn't agree to it. This son then would also be, well...
So he's in jail because of that, but he is facing more than 60 lawsuits. In fact, in the article that just came out on G1, they included exactly this video here. Look, let me see if I can find the video about this situation. It goes like this. Look, a partner of a company linked to Ark Horses producer has been identified by the public prosecutor's office as a member of the PCC and is in jail for femicide in Sao Paulo. Then there's a video from the time of the events. Is this a fake document? No, it's not a fake document. It's the contract document here. Look, service contract for the implementation and operation of public internet network maintenance. Look here. The Conhecer Brazil Institute from Karina. She hired Favela Conectada Service and Technology, whose sole owner is Alex. She hired him for 12 million reais to do the service for which she won the bid. This is further proof that she was absolutely in no condition to provide the service. I asked Ricardo Nunes, the mayor of São Paulo, how did she win this bidding process? But there's a video I want to show you. Let me see if I can find it here. I think it got deleted, but anyway. G1 itself and Global News just reported this story a little while ago. This situation is extremely serious, everyone. And like, where's Trump, right? Trump said that PCC and Comando Vermelho are terrorists. Yeah, exactly. We already know that. It's already been discovered that a company linked to the PCC, which is known as the PCC's company, sent money to Havergate, to the Texas Fund, which is managed by Eduardo Bolsonaro's lawyer, Paulo Carliccio. We already know that. It's been discovered. And now this new connection with the PCC involving Bolsonaro's movie Karina Gama, a longtime ally of the Bolsonaristas, who to me is just a front, nothing more than a front. And this situation was just shown on Global News. Pay attention.
Pay attention. There are two parts. First, the issue of the contractual relationship between Instituto Conhecer Brazil, owned by businesswoman Karina Gama. Karina Gama, owner of Go Up Entertainment, which is the producer of the film Dark Horse, which means Azarão in Portuguese, that tells, or will tell, since it hasn't been released yet, the life story of former President Jair Bolsonaro. Let's go. I have several documents to show you. First is the contract. Karina owns Go Up, but she also owns the Conhecer Brazil Institute. This one here was contracted by the São Paulo City Hall, a contract signed in 2024 for the installation of Wi-Fi networks, Wi-Fi hotspots in the slums here in the city of São Paulo. And here, according to this document, which is an accountability report from the City Hall itself, look, the Conhecer Brazil Institute hired services from this company, Favela Conectada, Services and Technology. Let's examine who owned this company when the contract was made, since it's someone well known to the public prosecutor's office and civil police. First, let's remember the contract. If you're following this story now, it provides for the installation of 3,200 Wi-Fi points here in the city of São Paulo. And between July 2024 and December, we have here almost 4 million, 3 million, and 800 invoices. Invoices that are assigned to this company, Favela Conectada, which is what our colleague Rodrigo Rodriguez from G1 managed to gather in terms of documents, as I mentioned. Now, who is Instituto Conhecer Brazil? I've already explained what it is and who owns the company Favela Conectada. Let's show it here. He had left the partnership, but this was during contract signing and until the end of last year. Alex Leandro Bispo dos Santos.
That last name there?
Exactly. This is a document from the commercial registry that proves he was the owner of this company here, Favela Conectada Serviço Tecnologia. When the City Hall signed with Instituto Conhecer Brazil, and Instituto Conhecer Brazil, let's say, subcontracted this company, Favela Conectada. And according to sources from the Public Prosecutor's Office of the State of São Paulo, he is. In the next screen, I will show a document from a court case. And according to sources from the civil police, I spoke with Dr. Lincoln Gakia. I spoke with the chief of police who have already worked in the intelligence sector and are familiar with this type of investigation. Today, he is under arrest. Alex Leandro Bispo dos Santos is here. Look, document from the Court of Justice. All the documents I am showing here are public. He is being charged with femicide. Here is the simple homicide charge in which he is accused of throwing his then girlfriend, from the 10th floor of a building here in the south zone of São Paulo. Besides this femicide case that led to his current arrest, he has already been convicted of robbery in several cases and has faced charges such as extortion by kidnapping and other crimes. And in his long and extensive criminal record, he served time in some prisons that, according to the Public Prosecutor's Office and Civil Police, are indeed evidence that he is a member of the 1st Capital Command. I'll mention two prisons, Mirandopolis and especially Penitentiary 2 in Presidente Wenceslau in western São Paulo, where, before being moved to the federal penitentiary system, several penitentiary members, including him, were held. Marco, Williams, Herbas, Camacho, and Marcola served time, including him, Alexandro, and Marcola, in the same prison at P2 in Wenceslau for some time. So what we're bringing here, he
is responsible for the company. He appears in the JustSP records.
It came out in December that he had been arrested. It appeared in JustSP. There was a change of partners there, which we were also able to prove with the documents that Rodrigo was able to gather from G1. But when ICB hired this company, he was the partner, and that really draws a lot of attention from the investigators and anyone looking into this story. Here's the thing. Someone who, since he was 18 years old, he's 40 now, Alex Pinto dos Santos, and since he was 18 has been arrested several times for various crimes. After his release, he can be held accountable and do as he wishes after serving his sentence. Still, it's notable he owns this company and signs such large contracts with someone holding a major city hall contract. Yes?
To provide services, right?
That's right.
Just remembering and not doing any investigation about who is being hired.
That's right. And just to wrap up here, an important context, Karina Gama, who owns ICB and Go Up, there is already an investigation by the civil police regarding this contract for the installation of subscriber Wi-Fi. And she even attached to her defense, attached to this civil police inquiry, that the movie Dark Horse, Go Up, and herself, she attached this to her defense, cost 75 million reais. Yeah, a good part of this money is spent in the United States and here in Brazil because the movie is produced in both countries. So that's the context of the story. So Karina, the owner of ICB, who is also the owner of Go Up through ICB, in these Wi-Fi contracts, hired this company belonging to a PCC member. And the civil police want to know even today, even because of a request from the public prosecutor's office, if this contract is fraudulent and if part of this money was actually used for the production of the movie. An investigation by me and also by Rodrigo Rodriguez, our colleague from G1 Globo's news portal, with two parts.
First, well, things are getting heated. More situations are coming to light. And this is a really terrible case, right? And there was already a situation involving a company that is well known, especially in the hidden carbon operation, like the PCC's company, which sent money to Havergate. Havergate, the fund belonging to Eduardo Bolsonaro's lawyer over in the United States, in Texas. And now there's this situation where Karina hired an NGO whose owner is a member of the PCC, who is even in prison and facing more than 60 cases. It's a terrible situation, my dear. The more you dig, the worse it gets. So here's the thing. The man accused of throwing his wife from the 10th floor received 12 million from the producer of Bolsonaro's movie. The public prosecutor's office is investigating a 108 million contract for public Wi-Fi from the São Paulo City Hall with the NGO of the producer of the movie about Bolsonaro. The NGO Instituto Conhecer Brazil was hired to install 5,000 internet access points in the outskirts of the capital. Instituto Conhecer belongs to Karina, the sole owner of the production company behind Bolsonaro's movie. Yes, the Nunes administration says the public call was transparent and uncontested. How did she win this bidding process? And she has already answered all the questions from the prosecutor's office. All of this is being investigated. Dark Rose, the producer of the feature about Bolsonaro, has never made a movie. The owner of Go Up Entertainment, the production company responsible for the controversial Bolsonaro film, journalist Karina, has never released any film, neither in Brazil nor abroad. Besides Go Up, the other two companies listed under Karina's name in the National Film Agency system, Unseen, have also never registered or released any production in the country, whether in movie theaters, broadcast TV, or cable TV. Apparently, the company was formed to make the Bolsonaro film. Dark Rose is at the center of the crisis, triggered by the revelation that the presidential pre-candidate, Flavio Bolsonaro, demanded millions of reais from the owner of Banco Master, Daniel Borcaro, supposedly to finance the project. So the situation is complicated. You know, it's definitely Bolsa Master. The NGO linked to Bolsonaro's biographical film has become a target of the civil police in São Paulo. The NGO is run by the journalist Karina, who is also connected to the production company Go Up. Not just connected, she owns Go Up, which is responsible for the film. So the more you dig, guys, the worse it gets. And from all indications, really, this film was used as a tool for money laundering, for paying bribes, for transferring funds illegally to another territory, and a whole bunch of other things. Look here, the Office of the Comptroller General is auditing to find out if public earmark funds ended up in Bolsonaro's film. What happened? The Office of the Comptroller General requested the film's financial statements. Why, Andrea Gonçalves? Because there's suspicion that earmark money went to the film. Why, Andrea Gonçalves? Because earmark money went to the NGO. From whom? Guess. From Karina. Thus, the Office of the Comptroller General of the Union became involved. Since Andre Mendonça is kind of inactive, or then the other agencies will start to demand and monitor the situation. Then the Office of the Comptroller requested the financial report for Bolsonaro's movie from Karina, the producer of the film. She has to provide this financial report, guys. Oh, Andrea, the money went to the United States, to Havergat. It doesn't matter. She already said that the movie cost 75 million reais. It's probably the most expensive movie in the history of Brazilian cinema. She'll have to account for everything properly, every single detail. How much was from grandma? How much was from I don't know what? How much was from earmarks? How much was from everything? What's suspicious is that the money from congressional earmarks, especially from Mario Frias, the former Minister of Culture, from Mario Frias, Bolsonaro's former culture minister, and the film's executive producer, it went exactly into the whole film scheme. And it definitely didn't go to the film, right? It must have gone into someone's pocket. So now the Federal Audit Office has also gotten involved in this story. Shall we see some statements? What do you all think about all this, guys? Guys, I'm sorry, but there's no way. There's no way you can say this thing was right, that everything is fine. There's just no way. So the last one now, on the 28th, Flavio is going to leave for Argentina. Do you think he'll do like his father did? Write a letter, hand it to Javier Milei, and ask for political asylum soon? If things get tough, is he going to run away to Argentina? He's going to Argentina on the 28th. Look at this. Flavio is going to Argentina and is supposed to discuss the rise of the right with Javier Milei. I see. He's already preparing his way in case he needs to run away. See? Grab the tail of the kite. Meanwhile, the Prosecutor General's office is asking for more time to analyze whether Bolsonaro's possession of a firearm is a serious offense. Gane considered that it's still not possible to say that the weapon kept by the former president constitutes a serious offense that would revoke his house arrest. Shall we take a look at the document here? Gane responding to Minister Alexandre de Moraes. Look, I'm completely lost right now. I think it's Friday and that's having an effect, you know? Oh my goodness. Look here. The reported episode is still at the initial stage of clarification in the proper instance. It does not indicate, in the case of the police at this procedural moment, the concreteness of a situation that would characterize a disciplinary infraction or a failure to comply with the precautionary conditions to which the convicted person is subject. The characterization of a serious infraction requires more than just subsumption, which is the application of the law, the rule to the fact, right? It requires an analysis of the impacts of the unlawful conduct on the legal order and the object and purpose of criminal enforcement. It is suggested then to wait for the conclusion of the investigations in order to allow for a final and more comprehensive judgment on the facts. What does Paulo Gane want? He wants to wait for the conclusion of the investigation that the civil police opened in the federal district so he can know and give his opinion on whether it really was a serious offense by Bolsonaro or not. If it's a serious offense, he will go back to Papuda. There's no way around it. Now, from what I'm seeing, Paulo Gane is just letting it slide, and apparently he's going to say it wasn't a serious offense. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't out of malice. That he didn't intend to use that weapon for any criminal act, but it was for self-defense, that the weapon should be seized and that everything is fine, that he can stay at Papudinha. From all indications, that's it. And this decision apparently will be made next week because Alexandre de Moraes is waiting for the statement from the Attorney General. And after the Attorney General gives his statement, Bolsonaro's defense will still have to respond. And from what it seems, what will it be? Bolsonaro will stay there under house arrest. That's how it seems. What do you think? That's what I felt about this thing with Paulo Gane, you know? Well, let's see what happens. Meanwhile, more people are speaking out about Misheka's situation and the whole mess. And look at this. We have to remember this here because Michelle.
Criminal. Bolsonaro is the leader of a gang. Sue me, Bolsonaro, and see if I can't prove that you and your sons were stealing money from your office with gas expenses, stealing money from the housing allowance, stealing money from ghost employees. Call Natalia, Queiroz's daughter, who has 10 deaths on her record.
The housing allowance went unnoticed. I still remember when they interviewed Dad and asked, what do you spend this money on since you can withdraw the allowance in cash?
Right?
I spend it to fuck your mother, to get with women,
Bolsonaro is a criminal. Bolsonaro is a gang leader.
Yeah, here we can see that Michelle not wanting an alliance with Queiroz, she's right. But soon the Bolsonaro supporters will make excuses, right? For Flavio Bolsonaro, for Eduardo Bolsonaro, and they'll blame Eva. They'll blame Michelle, the woman, as always. Michelle is the one who needs to have some self-respect and walk away. That's what she needs to do, right? By the way, Congressman Leonel Hayden also talked about this situation here. Oh, go ahead and smash that like button, guys. It's Friday, for God's sake. Good. Wake up, people. Look here.
This family is very close and also very lively. They fight over any reason.
but they end up asking for forgiveness.
Michele Bolsonaro said that Flavio Bolsonaro disrespected and humiliated her, and that he humiliated a woman, disrespected a woman, and not just any woman, but his father's wife. And what's more, at the end of her video, which was very well edited, by the way, 25 minutes in which she airs her dirty laundry in public, and Michelle Bolsonaro declares, in a way to keep the suspense, that she knows a lot more things and says not to take her for a fool. And that Jair Bolsonaro agrees with what she's saying publicly. Oh. How is Flavio Bolsonaro's campaign going to turn out now when he doesn't even have the support of the person who knows him personally and lives with him every day? Which in this case is his father's wife. His father's wife can't get along with her stepson. She considers Flavio Bolsonaro disrespectful, a guy who humiliates a woman, and we're talking about Michelle Bolsonaro too, who has an important position in the PL. So how does it turn out? Whose side is the PL going to take? Michelle Bolsonaro's or Flavio Bolsonaro's? After all, is Flavio Bolsonaro a good candidate, if not even his own? His stepmother accepts him. And is the Bolsonaro family going to keep acting like they're a monarchy? You have to have the DNA, you have to have the last name, then they choose who the candidate is, who the candidate will be. It's shameful, isn't it? By the way, Michelle Bolsonaro, as a leader and director there in the PL, if I'm not mistaken, earns more than 40,000 reais a month paid with public money. It's me, you, the party fund that pays Michelle Bolsonaro's salary of more than 40,000 reais. But to me, this shows the danger we face. If, Flavio Bolsonaro becomes president of the republic, what I said yesterday
here at the podium, even regarding women's rights.
And today, another congressman from the PL was arrested for embezzling funds from parliamentary amendments, which is something that needs to be discussed in politics. Maranhãozinho is the name of this PL congressman who was arrested and was the target of a search and seizure warrant. He was embezzling parliamentary amendments, specifically these parliamentary amendments called PIX amendments, from this secret budget that is sent to a city hall. There's no tracking. And he was pocketing the parliamentary amendments and embezzling public money. So it's not just about the PL. I'll also talk about the city councilor from the Workers' Party in São Paulo, who was arrested because he had ties to the PCC, just like others who had ties to the PCC. It was Tarcísio's security guard, the biggest financier of Tarcísio's campaign. Vorcaro, who also gave money to Flavio Bolsonaro, definitely laundering money, just like he laundered money for the PCC. A good part of the funds that were sent to Bolsonaro's movie, which nobody knows if they actually went to the movie, definitely came from embezzled PCC funds. But this city councilman from São Paulo was coordinating public policies and also the management of public transportation together with the PCC. Fortunately, he was arrested. Fortunately, right now he's in jail. He needs to be in jail. He needs to be punished because the Workers' Party cannot condone any act of corruption. Just like Jacques Wagner, who fortunately was removed from the government leadership in the Senate, and now he has total freedom to defend himself. If he is found innocent, he should seek retraction. If he is found guilty, he should pay the price. If I ask it of Flavio Bolsonaro, I ask anyone who is by my side, because no one is immune to corruption. But what we have to do is demand the punishment of those responsible. We have to demand thorough investigation so that in politics, this kind of lawmaker, this kind of politician can no longer prosper. Because today, the way this practice of corruption has been established, we now have a presidential pre-candidate who has clear ties to money laundering at Banco Master, to the Banco Master scandal, to the INSS scandal, to the PCC money laundering scandal, all of which went through Banco Master and ended up fueling it. That's what I see. Actually, it's not the movie, but even Flavio Bolsonaro's pre-campaign for the presidency and his brothers stay there in the United States to conspire against our country. Thank you very much.
That's right. And speaking of scandals, since we're talking about scandal, Flavio Rachadinha just gave an interview to Metropolis, to Ricardo Capelli, and he confessed he can't deny it, right, guys? There's no way he can deny it anymore. Do you remember that at the beginning of this week, Lauro Jardim, the one Daniel Vorcaro said he'd send a hitman after, stage a robbery, and knock out all his teeth? Journalists from Globo, Lauro Jardim, came out publicly and said that Flavio Bolsonaro met with Daniel Vorcaro at Daniel Vorcaro's house in Brasilia. And Vorcaro at Daniel Vorcaro's house. Flavio didn't say anything, didn't deny it, didn't say anything. I even told you there's no way he can deny it, because if he denies it, he'll be caught lying. So he just gave an interview to Riccardo Capelli and confessed that he really was at Daniel Vorcaro's house. But it was supposed to be about the film's financing, about private money. It's not private money, guys, it's stolen money. Let's take a look at this bit of today's interview with Riccardo Capelli from Flavio. Rachadinha isn't a thing anymore, right? Now it's Flavio Mesadão from Vorcaro. It's Vorcaro. It's Flavio Bolsonaro. That's right. Put it there. Oh, pa, you can stop. You can stop there. Put it there. Flavio Bolsonaro. Wow. Pay attention here.
You yourself admitted that you had an in-person meeting with Daniel Vorcaro in São Paulo to discuss the movie Dark Horse with him. Recently, the newspaper O Globo published that you had another meeting with Daniel Vorcaro in the first half of last year. Here in Brasilia,
at Casa Opa. So hold on, that's a second meeting. No. Stop everything. Stop everything. Duh. So it's not just one meeting anymore? It's already the second meeting with Daniel Vorcaro. At Daniel Vorcaro's house, my handsome and my beautiful. You can expect there will be a third and a fourth. What's going on? And the problem is the PT. The problem is Lula. This crook here, Flavio Bolsonaro, who said he didn't know Daniel Vorcaro. No, I don't know Daniel Vorcaro. That's the PT's fraud. It's Lula's. It's Lulinha's. Then suddenly we're finding out here that Flavio Bolsonaro is a self-confessed defendant, saying he's already been to 2 meetings at Daniel Vorcaro's house. And you know why? Because he won't deny it. Because there's no way he can deny it, because he knows that it's very likely there will be evidence, videos, and audios from those meetings of his. Now he's going to say it's a private matter, private money. What does Daniel Vorcaro have to do with it? There's stolen money from retirees, pensioners, public servants. It's money stolen by Daniel Vorcaro's mafia. And here's the thing. At these meetings, Daniel Vorcaro was already wearing an ankle monitor and had just been temporarily released from jail. So he knew everything. Flavio. My father, the house is falling apart more every day. Let him finish talking here.
His house in Brasilia. There was this second face-to-face meeting with Vorcaro. And what was discussed? Capelli, I always say the following. Nothing has changed. It's more of the same. It's forced.
No. It's not more of the same. You used to say you didn't know Daniel Vorcaro. How can it be more of the same if you said you didn't know Daniel Vorcaro? And now we find out not only about the meeting at his house, but the second meeting at Vorcaro's house to ask for money. He's trying to normalize it, guys. He's trying to normalize the situation, but there's no way to normalize this. This is corruption. This is money laundering. This is bribery. It's money stolen from Bara.
To try to bring this subject back up, I've always said the following. My relationship with him was always because of the movie. Once again, it's private investment in a private movie.
The money is stolen. Vorcaro's money is stolen money. Now, here's the thing. Where did the money go? He doesn't answer. Flavio doesn't answer where the money went. Did the money go to the movie? Where's the movie's financial report? Where is it? Do you know what Flavio says? He says the money went to the Texas fund at Havergate, and from there it went to the movie. No. And why doesn't he say, Andre? Because he could lie and say it went to the movie, Andre. It's because he knows it can be traced. And the police must be investigating. It's not possible that the police aren't investigating, because if the police aren't investigating, this could stop as well. But Lauro Jardim this week also revealed that the federal police are officially investigating Flavio Bolsonaro for the crimes, at first, of criminal organization, money laundering, and currency evasion. Then Flavio wants to normalize it, saying, oh, private relationship, private money. He's trying to normalize the situation. First, he didn't even know him. Now he was charging millions of reais and received more than 50 million, more than 60 million reais. Where did the money go? He doesn't explain that. So guys, we can't normalize this kind of situation. You can't think that this is right, that this is correct, or that this is normal. Especially for someone who wants to be president of the country. It's not acceptable, you see. And speaking of not acceptable, Misheka was attacked again. The other one who's over there in the United States, the one she said was attacking her from abroad, is still attacking her. Paulo Figueiredo, look at this video of him here saying that she's very harsh with Bolsonaro's sons. But she's all buddy-buddy with Alexandre de Moraes. Try messing with him.
Flavio is a sweetheart with Alexandre de Moraes because I wonder how many videos with this length and this tone has Michelle recorded talking about Alexandre de Moraes? 0? She greets Alexandre with a little kiss and calls him a brother in Christ. She says Alexandre can convert, and I would praise God for that since I believe it too.
It's just that there's a catch, right? You all are also being sweet with the leftist communist Ciro Gomes, and she's right to say it if she's being sweet with Moraes. Most likely it's so that the other one can continue under house arrest. At least there's a reason for it, right? Now you all are being sweet with the leftist communist Ciro Gomes. Why? That's what she's asking. And I'll tell you, they will keep attacking her. They will keep doing this because they're misogynistic, sexist. That's it. She's the one who needs to be ashamed and get away from those people, right? And there's also the situation of having left Bolsonaro out of Volcaro's scheme, right? That Bolsonaro felt betrayed, like I explained on the live today at 8:30. So it's the pot calling the kettle black. Now they need to be ashamed, right? Now it's a scheme, right? Because Michelle is Bolsonaro, right? At least. And she knows that Flavio is going downhill. Who knows? Maybe she'll rise, right, Michelle? This one is that one's brother. There's no fool here. Now, there was a very interesting statement that I think is worth us repeating here from Simone Tebet yesterday. Really nice. It moved me and even moved Lula. Let's watch her statement here because this is worth it. Go ahead and hit the like button, like, comment, and share. Lula, 4-time winner. Watch this.
I was watching a video of President Lula and someone asked the following question. President, but do you believe in God? Are you a spiritual person? You said one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. How could I not believe in God? I am the result of a miracle. I was born in the backlands of Pernambuco, where out of every 10 children who reached 7 years old, most died and I survived. I was the first to have a primary school diploma, the first to have an officially registered job. And then among the many wonderful things you said, there was one that really stood out. I am the result of love, the love of a mother of 8 children who taught me to never give up. Someone who thinks like that is a person like me, a blessed, prepared, enlightened person. May God always enlighten you, President, and may history one day recognize the greatness of your soul.
It's a miracle in a Brazil full of racism, full of discrimination against the poor, against Black people, against people from the Northeast, with social inequality. Blatant, violent, inhuman. Lula came from the backlands and for the 3rd time is president of the Republic. Lula had to give that answer. How could I not believe in God if I am God's miracle on earth? And it's very important for us to bring this up because there are a lot of people who, say that Lula doesn't have faith or whatever, but it's all lies from those people, bums who use the gospel and evangelical Jesus Christ to manipulate the masses. Lula is one of the greatest examples that God exists. He is a living miracle, and that's why I believe. And among other things, obviously, he will win for the 4th time exactly because he is blessed and chosen by God. Coming from the backlands, to become the only president of the Republic 4 times. That's why, write it down. Lula, Tetra, I believe in that. And you, my dear, smash that like button, like, comment, and share 16. At 4:30 p.m., there's the highlight. And at 8 p.m., I'll answer your questions. Kisses, take care. Thank you. See you next time.